All right, fellas. So today we're going to talk about the science of dating. These are rules that people don't know. There are going to be 10 rules to this, right? And I'm going to give you to you straight up. There will be no hesitation to these rules. If you want, you can share this with a friend. Um, uh, but here we go. So, rule one is this: looks is king. First of all, if you guys go to the club, right, and you go to anywhere, even social media, go on dating apps and stuff like that, Instagram, you would notice that mostly the good looking guys are the ones who pull all the women. When I say good looking guys, none of these guys are usually fat. None of these guys are out of shape. Um, all of these guys predominantly usually have a chiseled face. They're not too muscular because muscles, unfortunately, does not get you anywhere, right? Um, a lot of them usually either have long hair or short hair, but you have to have a face that can capture, that is image worthy, right? And you have to have a look that matters the most, right? Some things that might complement your looks are like you could have like nice clothes, like tattoos and stuff like that. But the perfect look is like, let's say, a guy who plays soccer or a swimmer body. But I would say this: some people who are skinny, um, they don't always have great looks, right? I think that genetically, what makes up looks is genetically like the claviculars. They have like a good looking face. So it's not always about being skinny. It's sometimes it could be the genetic lottery that that it is helping your looks. So what you can do if you can't win that genetic lottery is you could try to improve other things. You can try to improve how you dress. You could try to improve, basically, if you want to get tattoos, if you want to get stuff like nose piercings and just see how it works. Always get a haircut. Make sure that you're always clean. Make sure you always have some nice shoes, because looks is number one, right? So that's why we made it number. I made it number one, right? So looks is number one, right? So never forget that. Always try to improve your looks. Your looks is always what's gonna get you through the door. Because if you think about this, right? If a homeless guy is on the road, right, and he has good looks, he's always gonna get a chick, right? If a short guy is at the club and he has good looks, he's always gonna get a chick, right? The Zac Efrons, the other celebrities who that are shorter, Tom Cruise, the Brad Pitts, they're always getting the women, right? And it's not because they're out of shape, and it's not because they dress funny, it's because they have good looks. Like Brad Pitt has good looks, right? So that's what we must understand, right? Next is this. Next, number two: status is the second king. So status is basically your fame, basically uh, how people view you, your internet, um, your your clout on the internet, right? Because basically we're in an internet era, right? Everybody wants to be popular online, right? So those people who are like, you see most Twitch streamers, like, they never used to get chicks. Like, imagine somebody like Adrian Bronner, right? If you look at Adrian Bronner currently, a guy like that going to the club would never get the chicks that he's pulling. He only pulls them. Why? Because he has status. You know, that matters a lot, basically. So, same thing with all of the celebrities, right? Your status is what could get you far in the world, right? Sometimes status attracts most people. And if you don't have status, you could always try to build it. Basically, like, go be the quarter. If you're in basically high school or something, go be the quarterback of your team, right? Uh, go be the point guard of your team or something like that to build a status. Be the popular guy. Um, Make sure that you're someone who everybody knows. So the person who everybody knows is the person who everybody likes, and the person who everybody likes can get you places, basically, and get you into doors where you can't get into, basically. And the number one place to have status is the internet, right? So somebody with millions of subscribers walking inside of a room is always going to be liked by people, by people who don't have that much subscribers, or by women, basically. So status is king. Number three, height does not matter as much as you think. So most people believe that height is king, height rules all that is, but this is not true. If you if we're conducting a science experiment, right, and the experiment is to go out and see if height matters, when you go out to the club, right, and you pay attention, right, what matters to you? I mean, what do you see? Do you see guys who are taller, all the tall guys getting chicks, or do you see all the tall guys who have good looks getting women? Those two things are two different things, right? You can be 6'7", you can be 6'8", you can be 6'5", but if you're not in great shape, and like, let's say if your face, your looks isn't there, because there'll be tall guys who has like, who are skinny, they're tall, but their face isn't like that. They have a face only a mother can love, and most of them don't get no chicks. Like for some reason, like how would I would explain the looks is, you have to have that, like, like the mogger look. You have to mog everybody type of look. All those moggers with the cut jaws and everything like that. That's the type of look that you have to have in order to, you know, dominate with height, right? Um, some people who are tall, if you are obese, if you're overweight, you won't be able to compete, especially with somebody who's way shorter than you and who looks good. Like, I've seen guys who are short in the club and are able to dominate, are able to kill. You know, they never let anything stand in their way. They're very good looking. So you have to understand that that height is not all that it is. Height only helps you a little bit. Sometimes you win, but at the end of the day, everybody is equal in terms of um height, looks, and everything like that. Height is not the end all be all. Okay. Number four, money is king. Money is king in some ways. Money helps you basically go where you want and do what you want, and projects an image that most people don't think matters, right? You know, a rich man with money can always go to the VIP section, and what does he do? He would invite all the girls over, and they would basically all come to the VIP section. Doesn't matter how the guy looks. It's just that he's able to have those chances, right? That if you don't have any money, you would never have those chances. He can always get on a boat, on something like that, and invite a bunch of girls to come, and girls will go because girls like to have fun, right? So that's very important, right? So money tends to be king in a lot of areas. So you always want to strive to have money, right? Sometimes um, some jobs won't give you uh, as much money as you think. Um, sometimes you have to start businesses, or maybe be famous online in order to have a certain amount of money. But you can always get money, like with through education. Like if you go be a doctor or something like that. But mostly, I'll talk about that in the coming episode of how to get the most amount of money, right? So next is going to be, I don't know what number this is. Maybe it's six. Let's say it's six. So six is this. Understanding women makes you unstoppable. So, understanding women, right? So, have you ever been in a situation where you have a girlfriend and all of a sudden every chick likes you, every woman who you always wanted, you know, ends up like liking you all of a sudden out of nowhere? Um, that's a very interesting thing, right? And I've always wondered why that is, but most people don't take advantage of that, right? Next time you're going to the club, tell one of your, let's say if you have a female friend, tell one of your pretty female friends that they should accompany you or something like that to the club, right? And as you're with her in the club, you would notice that either other chicks would come and try to talk to the chick, or you would be getting looks by other chicks because women only like men who can get other women. So this is also what you must know. You could always use this to your advantage, right? You could go up to go into the club and start chatting up a chick and talking to her, and maybe you gain her attention by buying her a drink. I know some people don't want to buy girls a drink because it seems bad and all that because they're using you. But you can always use that to your advantage. You don't have to. It's just a drink, you know. The $12 you spent doesn't mean that it's gone. Doesn't mean that it's lost. You can always make that back if you are a guy who works hard and makes money. It's literally nothing because you're using it to your advantage, right? And as you're buying her a drink, you can make sure that you guys are having fun. You guys are having a nice chat. You guys are very loud, and you would notice that that will gain you a lot of attention around other women, right? So you can do that. Um, some guys always say, always are like, let me go warm up when I go to before let me go warm up before I go, in the club before I go, talk to the ones I like. And you can warm up. You can, if you, some people would go talk to, quote unquote, unattractive chicks in order to get their way to the very attractive chicks. You can do that too as well. Um, anything to improve your game, but you have to understand that women likes men who other women likes. If you understand that key, then you would succeed in this current dating market, right? So number seven is this, right? You must never feel like it's the end of the world if nothing is going your way, right? So a lot of people want to give up. A lot of people want to stay home, play video games, and say that the juice is not worth the squeeze. Well, that is wrong. Sometimes you have to understand that you could be put in in situations where um you would have to learn game, right? Like let's say you all of a sudden go to a cafeteria and a pretty girl is staring at you and she wants to talk to you and you are not in the best shape or you don't have the best haircut and you lose out on that opportunity, right? It makes you feel bad. It hurts you very much. But um it's not because of anything other than the fact that you gave up. Because we're always currently in the game, right? We would always be in those situations where you would have to learn game. You would have to know how to maneuver or know what to do in certain situations. So you always have to be ready, right? You always have to be mentally, physically ready. Always have to make sure that you always have a clean haircut. Um, you could take your time, and if you want to take some time and maybe go monk mode and say, oh, okay, I'm not going to talk to any girls or anything like that. Even if you go monk mode, you have to use that time to improve yourself. You know, you cannot use that time to, play games all day, maybe sit down and eat all day and all that. No, use that time to improve yourself. Go to the gym, get in your best shape, buy some new clothes, try to make as much money as you can. because when you get put in those advantages where in those situations you know um where you have to use game, right? Like let's say you're at a job interview and something like that, right? And you're getting interviewed by a woman, and she only gives jobs to guys who are good with game. Are you going to lose out on that job because you weren't prepared, right? So this is why number seven is you must never give up on yourself. Always try to be the best person you can be, right? Okay, the next one is this, right? Where you meet the girl matters, right? So the places you meet with, certain girls matter, right? If you meet them at the club, um, it would determine how your relationship goes with them, right? Some of them would think that you're a cheater or you're this evil guy, but if you meet them at a library and something like that, she would not think of you the same way, right? So where you meet girls matters the most, right? Some people would rather go to the library to meet girls or a coffee shop to meet girls. Some people would try to meet them online and stuff like that. And that always determines how your relationships will go, right? So you always want to make sure that um, if this is somebody who you want to take serious, you want to make sure that you meet them in a good place. I would suggest, you know, try to meet them in places where, like, places like either Starbucks. You can go up to Starbucks and try to maybe chat somebody up. If you maybe don't catch a charge, or you can go to the library. You can go to Target. I hear people are going to Target and getting um good reactions. Um, Also, uh, online, I would say online is not the best place to meet women because you have a lot of competition there, right? Um, so you have to understand exactly where you meet them matters, right? Next, number eight is where if you ever want to go out on a date, where you take them, where you take girls to on a date, they will always remember, right? So let's say you meet a girl and you tell her, let's go to the beach, right? And as you take her to the beach, you not only take her to the beach, you take her to three different places. You take her to the beach, you take her to an amusement park, and you take her to go get coffee all in the same day, right? She will always remember those situations, right? This is why you ought to be a person who not only takes them to only one place, you have to make sure that you take them to multiple places, right? So you always be a memory in their head. My game is this, right? So if we ever go watch a movie, um, I would first of all, if I tell her that I want to go watch a movie, I'd first of all go get drinks with her or something like that, first of all. And then we'll go watch the movie, right? And then after that, we go get something to eat, just like that, like, Or if we go into the beach, we could go to the store, get some liquor, you know, uh, drink up uh, in, at a park or somewhere, and maybe go to the beach, and then uh, go walk in the park or somewhere. You always want to make sure that you go to multiple locations, and all of those always, she always will have that as a memory in her head, right? So you always want to make sure that that is exactly what you're doing. Make sure you always try to go to multiple locations. Okay, number nine is I lost count, guys. So if I, add a certain number or add an extra number, or if I missed out on another number, just either add it on or as an extra, or you can just um, take away from yourself. Okay. So next is this. You always want to you always want to make sure that you come first in everything. Most people always like to, even in relationships, they'll put themselves last. They never put themselves first. They're never either selfish about who you are or anything like that. If you think about it, right? let's say you are in a situation, right? And there's two people, right? And one of them, there's two people. There's you and your friend, right? And one of you guys have a cut on your hand, right? Or both of you guys have a cut on your hand, right? And the only and this cut is very dangerous. It could kill you in a couple of seconds, right? So the only cure for this cut is a water, like a let's say a needle or with a needle with the antidote on the end, right? And it's you and your friend, right? Who would you want to be healed first? Would you want yourself to be healed, or would you want your friends to be healed? I know most people would say it's either my friend gets healed or both of us is going to die then. So, but truly deep down, you would believe that it's supposed to be yourself, right? Who's supposed to be healed. That's how you should see life, right? You should always see life as you come first, no matter what. Always be selfish about yourself, right? Always make sure that you take care of yourself, that you are your number one priority when you make every decision, right? Um, Girls love guys who are confident, and confident guys only think about themselves. So always think about yourself. Be selfish about who you are, right? Next and final one, number 10. Um, Number 10 is this. Make sure that you travel the world. Make sure that you travel everywhere. You never always want to stay in one location. You always want to move everywhere, right? So usually big cities are gonna have the most amount of people. So you always want to go to places like big cities. Um, Big cities have the most amount of women. If you're in a small city, make sure you move to a big city. Um, try to travel to different places. There are very many big cities that you can go to. You can go to Seattle. You can go to Los Angeles. You can go to Orlando, wherever you want to go to, big cities, Tennessee. You can go to any big city you want to. Big cities are better than small cities. And if you want to go out of the country, you can do that too. Most passport bros get flack for doing what they're doing. But usually they'll get more experience in life than somebody who stays in a small city and everybody's dating everybody, you know. At the end of the day, that causes a lot of problems, right? And after some time, only the best looking guys are going to be the ones who is going to, be the ones who's going to be chosen, right? So always remember that you want to move around. You never want to stay in one place, right? And that's it. That's the science of dating. This is going to be episode one. I want you guys to leave in the comments what you guys liked and learned from this. Episode two, we're going to talk about money, how to get money, where money is, and we can also probably give like 10 tips too as well. So take care, you guys. Bye.